This is Marketing of Today. I'm Cesar. Let's go! Hey everyone, welcome back to a Marketing of Today episode outside, people. We're outside. I haven't done an episode like this before, and I am proud to be today at Merced Manor with Farida. Thank you so much for inviting me over.
Thank you for having me, yes.
So, Farida, talk to us about this. I know it's an amazing place. I see the vision. We have spoken about it before. I know it's going to be great. Let me know. Let people know what's going on here.
Yes, so we are here at Merced Manor. I purchased this property back in November with the intention of actually hosting it as an Airbnb.
Okay.
And then once coming here to see the space, I realized that it had way more potential. Mm-hmm. So I always wanted to open an event space, and I said, why not here?
Amazing. And you know what's beautiful is you have a lake right here.
Yes.
We're throwing in some drone shots so you guys can see it. You guys gonna see how beautiful the whole area is. The vision is more wedding style or any type of event. So what's in your mind?
Absolutely. We want to host weddings. I think small, intimate weddings would definitely be more conducive to the space. And I think that it's multifunctional. Mm-hmm. It could be birthday parties, team building, as well as event even a content creation space, because I think there's so much in this space that could be used for so many other things. So it's very versatile. Mm-hmm. But most of all, and why I love Airbnb and also this business, is because of hospitality. I really enjoy helping people create amazing memories, and I think this place will definitely do that.
Yeah, because I know that you're working on a project where people who get married here can actually stay here at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that's going on. You're trying to build on it. But I know we went straight into where you are today, but let's talk a little bit about the past.
Yes.
I know from meeting you before, we met about a year and a half ago.
Yes.
So I know from meeting you before that you also worked in the corporate world.
Yes.
How long did you do that for?
So I was in corporate for a little over 20 years. Mm-hmm. My latest role before I became an entrepreneur was at L'Oreal. I was an HR executive at L'Oreal for 17 years.
Oh, wow.
And I had an amazing career, great progression, great pay, all those things. Mm-hmm. However, in 2020, like many people, during the pandemic, I thought a lot about what I wanted to do. And with everything that was going on, I made a very tough decision to leave corporate. One, to support my family. Two, to support myself with mental health, because I was really just not feeling myself during that time. And when I left, I didn't know what I was going to do, to be quite honest. I had a conversation with my husband and I said, I want to leave. And him being the person he is said, whatever you need to do, I got you, we'll figure it out. But I had no idea what I was going to do. So
what did you do? You started trying things out?
I started trying things out. I actually opened a few different things. I actually started a food truck.
Yeah, right. We talked about it. It was nice. Yeah.
Esquina. But I'm here to share transparently that not all businesses will work out. So unfortunately, a year and a half after we opened the Esquina, we did have to dissolve that business. But I don't look at it as a failure. I look at it as what I like to call huge lessons and a very expensive MBA. I learned a lot about business and partnerships and things of that nature, which were great. And then I also opened a closet business. I opened a nonprofit, which I'm very passionate about, to support my children in giving back to their communities because they were very young. And then I went to Airbnb.
Yeah. So, little note, I was speaking to my brother, I think it was yesterday.
Yes.
He's behind doing the controllers today. But when we was talking about, he was telling me, like, he saw me through this process, right? Today we have this business. Today I have all this equipment. We work on cameras. We work behind we do production.
Right.
But I did try 5, 6, 7, 8 different businesses that didn't work.
Right.
Since I'm 15 years old, my parents, luckily enough, I have the blessing that my parents pushed me forward to do a lot of the things that I've done. But like you, right? Some of them failed.
Right.
Till one stuck.
Yes.
And today, thank you, Lord, we are able to take care of our families this way, right? So it's the same thing. It's like not giving up is the most important thing. And a lot of people give up easily.
Yes. Resilience is really important in any part of your life. but more so in entrepreneurship, because you're going to have a lot of those hurdles. You're going to have challenges where things are not going to work in your favor, where things are going to take longer than you expected. And I think the world of social media has also made it seem like it's very easy to become a millionaire.
Nope.
Opening a business is the best thing that you can do.
Usually they're trying to sell courses, though.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yes, everybody's trying to sell a course. But what I have seen as well is, and I think that that's what we need to do, is share more of the transparent conversation, have more of the transparent conversations about what it is opening a business.
Yes.
I am super supportive of anyone that wants to start a business.
Of course.
But I think we need to start having the tougher conversations about, you know, sometimes you're putting a lot of money out and there's not money coming in.
Yes. And that's because that's the part where people give up when they're like in that moment where, oh my God, I'm putting so much money out, I'm not seeing any rewards.
Right.
But anything is like that. Life is like that. Even school. When people go to school for 4 years, you're paying for classes, but you're not reaping the rewards till 5-10 years later.
Exactly.
When you're in your career. So I think it's very important what you're saying, and I agree with you at 100%. We should have more courses that are through the trenches, not so much through the success.
Right.
Because success is very different for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
I'm happy enough that I can sustain my family with this. Well, somebody else may want to have $1 million in their bank account.
Yes.
You have to be able to understand that not everything is money.
Yep.
And sometimes relationships, knowing people, connections can bring you a lot farther than just making money.
Yes. Absolutely. I think people don't have those conversations enough. I think it's a little bit of our culture as well, the Latino culture or the Black and brown culture, where everything has to be, you know, kept to self. You know, you keep that, you know, I don't want people to know how much I make. I don't want people to know that I'm going through a hard time. And I think we have to be a bit more honest and transparent about what that really looks like.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely important for us to share those stories so people don't give up. Because if I'm going through something and I'm not sharing it, you know, I don't know that story can help someone else. Like, wow, she went through, you know, she went through that, you know, valley, but now she's on the hill. Like, all those conversations are really important to help, you know, not only inspire, but keep people hope that even when things are bad, that there's going to be a turning point or a pivot where things are going to get better.
And I also think that we need to change our mindset from criticizing people to understanding.
Yes.
We don't, other cultures, I don't want to mention specifics, but other cultures, they keep to themselves. They worry about their situations because everybody's situation is different.
Right.
You might have today, yes, for what someone may seem luxury, but they didn't know how hard it took you to get there.
Absolutely.
And even if you can keep it.
Yes.
Because to have stability is hard.
Yes.
And especially when you're, you know, testing waters.
Yes.
So I think that everybody should be more open mind, understand that education is number one.
Yeah.
If you're not educated, if you don't learn, I mean, so in the podcast before we had spoken about the depression that I went through and how everything's my story. So how I built. But after that, I understood that I needed to learn and that I needed to study and I needed to be on top of people who have positive mindsets, different ideas. And that's how I was going to be able to build.
Absolutely.
So who that inspiration for you that helped you after 2020, like to figure out your path and end up here today? What beautiful. Look at that.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Thank you. It's a combination of people. It takes a village to, you know, you have to surround yourself with different people. Like we know Indira, Rosalind, those are women that I really respect. One of my best friends who lives in Florida, who's a coach, but worked in, you know, medicine for many, many, many years as a doctor. And those were the people that I really counted on, and my family. My family is really who I depended on. My husband, who I cried to. But in regards to who do I look to, it's definitely surrounding yourself with people that either are doing what you want to do, or you can take that journey with them. Yeah. And I definitely feel like I am building my circle out. I think there's that saying, you know, no new friends, I think is such BS, because having new friends, building new networks, knowing new people really opens your mind. And there's truth to be said in regards to, if you're the smallest, if you're the biggest fish in the room, you're in the wrong room. Yep. Or the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Yep. And I absolutely agree with that.
Completely agree.
For instance, yesterday I went to a networking event. It was for investors and landlords. I knew no one, 0 people.
Oh, wow.
And I went by myself. And the crutch is always to take someone you know, because if you don't know anybody, you can just talk to them.
Of course.
But it really forced me to put myself out there
And speak to people that
and
you didn't
speak
know.
to people and connect with people. So absolutely, putting yourself out there and meeting with people that you don't know, that you inspire or that you aspire to be, or that inspire you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
And putting yourself out there is really hard. I mean, I've always said I was an extrovert, and I think more recently
You're learning.
I'm feeling a little bit like introverted. I'm an introverted extrovert. But yesterday was just a testament to meeting new people and how those new people and their stories can inspire you, and the connections that you make. I met this guy. He was an investor, flipper. He actually does construction, and it was great to speak to someone who had an amazing story, who came from Guatemala, and the journey that it took him to be here. And now he has several businesses, and he's a DJ, and I have an event space. So
there's a connection. There's another connection there.
So all those connections that you make. So I think it's important to put yourself out there. Because education, I absolutely agree with you, is important, but not only traditional education.
Oh,
just
no,
put
today's.
to today's education.
Yep. I didn't, by the way, I get these questions a lot. I didn't study this.
You did not study this.
All I did was I bought a camera, started filming.
Okay.
And through the process, I would go to YouTube whenever I wanted to do something that I didn't know how to do.
Right.
Watch somebody that knows how to do it, went to school for it, and I'm like, oh, that's easy. Did it. And then everybody's like, oh my God, you did a great job. But in reality, I'm self-taught. This is my passion. This is what I love. And that's the reason why I have this. And I'm thinking about the other step. I'm not only thinking about today.
Yes.
So completely agree with you, where it's not just education. It's learning. It's also connecting. I have met a lot of people through this business. People who are in a different tier that I'm in. I feel like I mean, even in the podcast, I've had people with names, but I'm saying the people that I know behind cameras,
Right.
just the knowledge that they're able to pass me with just one question that I need to ask them at any time,
Yes.
is golden, because that's information that you don't have.
Absolutely. I think that being able to count on someone who Google and AI and all the things have allowed us to really search those things. But how powerful is it to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, I have a question on this. What do you think about this? Let me bounce this idea off of you. It's golden.
Yes.
You can't even pay for that.
No. There's no price. And having like you said, having the contact, because you went to that event, you've networked with that person. Now you have their number. Maybe you don't need to use them specifically, but maybe Jose here, you need someone, but you know them and you connect them, and now you're on top of mind to that person because you brought them a connection that every time they work together, they remind, oh, Farida.
Yeah.
So it's like, you never know how big your network can become. And I by the way, I thought I was an extrovert as well.
Yeah.
And then I learned that it's not. But I think what it is it's not, do you feel embarrassed? Because I don't think that's the right word. But you respect the person so much that you feel like their time is so valuable.
Yes.
That taking a minute away from them.
Yes.
It's like, okay, wait. Some people don't understand that from where we come from.
Yes.
Because we look at it, oh, you're supposed to be available.
Right.
But when you understand people's time's value, it's more important. And I had to learn that. And I think this was this year that I learned that, how valuable time is.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not even about the money.
Yeah.
It's just the time.
It's just the time.
So I know that you want to build a coaching business.
Yes.
I mean, not a coaching business, sorry.
Yes.
But now that you have an event space, you want to be able to bring people, by the way, we're outside. There's a road right here. Apparently today all the trucks decided to come through here.
All everybody.
But it is a weekday. People are working. But we're good. I think this you can't beat this right now. So I know that you have the event space. You want to help people better themselves.
Yes.
And you're trying to build them to become better and learn with experience, not so much with just theory.
Yes.
So how are you incorporating that? What are you thinking? How are we going to work that out?
So during my time of figuring out what I wanted to do and what I feel what was my expertise, being in human resources and also being a certified coach, because I got my certification while I was at L'Oreal.
Oh, okay.
I figured why not use those skills to support other people who are just trying to recalibrate what they want to do? Not everybody wants to leave their job to become an entrepreneur, and that's okay. And I want to share that. That is okay. Everybody does not need to be an entrepreneur, but I do feel that people are not living to their fullest potential.
Yeah.
And I really would love to support anybody, but mostly women, to live to their fullest potential.
Of course.
And we talked about this, coaching packages and stuff like that. And why I actually haven't launched a full coaching package is because I have found myself kind of doing the coaching and everything else like that on a one-off. People call me. I have no problem, finding the time to try to support people. But as I get more and more busy, I find myself not being able to do that as much as I want to.
The one-on-one time it's hard.
So the one-on-one time is tough. So what I'm thinking is, having a small group of women come together where I can answer those questions and support them in any way that I can. And it's not only for their own business or how to excel in their careers, but how to feel good within themselves. Because I think that we as women specifically, and I know you can't speak to this, we paralyze ourselves in doing certain things because it has to be perfect before we actually start. And there's a statistic actually that shares that men will be 40 or 50% sure about an idea before they start. A woman is more like 98% sure before she starts.
That's why they have more success stories. We'll say that, okay? Yes, women have more success because they prepare better.
Right.
But we take so much risk.
Yes.
But
the reward is there when you take more risk.
Exactly.
So that's why I live by the model of imperfect action.
I agree.
Imperfect action.
I support that 100%.
Yes. It's about taking action even when it's not perfect.
Yes.
It's about taking the baby steps even when you're not absolutely sure.
Because, let's be honest, let's be cruel. You might have an amazing idea, but it might not work at the time you're trying to build it. Exactly. So you spent, let's say 100 hours, let's say that's what 100 days, but 98 days working on that. What if you were to spend 40, try it out, see that it's not working, you save 60. Then you can use it in another idea.
Absolutely.
Because time is money.
Yes.
Money is time.
Right.
And a lot of times, a lot of businesses, you have to invest a lot of money in it. So imagine getting prepared, investing all this money in something, they're not working. I believe that you have to try things, right? Yes. So a little part here. That's why, for example, my case, I just had a son. My wife is at home, and I'm blessed that I'm able to do that because my son I think he's going to be a genius. But I see why that's important.
Right.
But I also tell my wife, listen, because you're home, it doesn't mean you can't try something out.
Right.
It doesn't mean you can't start a business. It doesn't mean that you can't do something for yourself.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to do this. Okay, cool. Let's do it. And she's like, wait, but I got to... No.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Because what if it doesn't work?
Right.
And then, she's been trying things and things are working out for her. But it takes time and it also takes risk.
Absolutely.
So women, take more risk.
Absolutely. Take more risk. Imperfect action. I live by that motto. I believe in yourself.
Yep.
You don't need people clapping for you. You clap for yourself and you go out there and you do that.
And that's another thing, right? Be careful who you ask for opinions.
Yes.
A lot of the times, a lot of great ideas don't see light because you ask people that are not in the right place to give you advice for something. How are you asking, and by this I don't mean any offense to anybody who's an employee, but how are you asking a person who's been an employee for 30, 40, 50 years of their life, how should I leave my job because I have this idea and it's working, I'm making this much money? They're going to tell you no because they're so used to security that they don't know how to take risk. And this is risky.
Yep.
You got to wake up every day on your toes and go to sleep every day on your toes.
And you have to motivate yourself. You're not motivated by your boss telling you have to be at work.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. I'll be very transparent. I was that person.
Yeah.
I was the employee that was like, oh my God, you're going to leave your job, the security. I loved the security of knowing that my paycheck was coming once a month. I loved knowing that I have my health insurance, my 401k. I say this all the time. My husband one day told me years ago, he's like, you want to do this for the rest of your life? Like, this is what you want to do? And I said, yes, this is what I want to do. I wanted to continue working until I was 65 to get my pension, like all that stuff. Wow. And now you can't
put you back there.
I would never go back there.
That's interesting.
But it was the catalyst of the things that happened in 2020 that led me there. But I admire people who are younger than me. I'm 46 years young, but younger than me, that actually take the risk sooner than I did, because there's so much potential. Yeah. And you could always go back to corporate. It's not going anywhere.
No, the jobs are still going to be out there.
They're not going anywhere. But I cried from the day that I told my husband I want to leave, and the day that I actually resigned was weeks, because I was so scared. I cried.
Look, a butterfly. Beautiful. Right in the middle. That was beautiful.
I just didn't want to leave that security. I grew up, with a single mom who said, never depend on a man. You work for yourself. And I had a career. I had a very good career. And leaving was really hard because I was going to depend on my husband. And I didn't want to do that. But if you have, whether you're married or in a situation or in a relationship or you're by yourself, make the plan that's going to help you if you want to do that. And I would say this, I will share this. Do not leave your full-time job until your side hustle or your side job is able to replace that money. I think that people are like, leave your job, take that risk. No, there's something to be said. You have to feed your children. You have to feed yourself. You have to pay for your house, your car, and all those things.
Especially if you already have, if you're younger, it's different. But when you're older, you have responsibilities. It's a lot.
And as we get older, we also now have ailing parents.
Yeah.
A lot of people are taking care of their parents. It's not only their children, but their mom or their dad or their grandmother who raised them. So all those things into consideration. So I absolutely understand when people are like, I can't leave my job yet. You can't right now.
Yeah.
But make the plan that's going to help you get there in the next 6 months, in the next year. And whenever you have time, and we say we don't have time, but you can make time.
Yeah.
You can. I believe in
I love what you just said about making the plan and, going the next 6 months, the next year, even the next 5, even the next 10.
Right.
Let me explain what I mean. If you work a 9 to 5, you work or let's change it up, since we're Latinos, we work at a different time.
Yes.
From 10 to 7.
Right.
Like I used to work. But what I did was I woke up at 7, did a little bit of what I wanted to do, editing, looking up a camera, working on the videos, etc. And then from 8 to 12, I will do the same. You can play with your time.
Right.
You can make time happen. And imagine if that takes you 4, 5 years of you training yourself, you getting prepared, you're building a connection, you're networking, etc., which never takes that long, but I'm saying just in case, then you're able to see a 40% income, 50%, and then make the jump and say, okay, because if I had this free time here, I could call more people.
Exactly.
But you have to prepare yourself for that moment. And you can do it. It's just you have to motivate yourself and understand that even those 2 hours matter that you give into your side hustle.
Absolutely.
2 hours is a big difference, because if you do the math at the end, you're doing a full-time job.
It's the baby steps, right? You're never going to, and I think that's what's so overwhelming for people. When they start a new business, they're like, oh my God, I have to, create the name and the LLC and these all. Do one thing a week. That was another great piece of advice that my husband gave me, because I had all these ideas and I wasn't doing anything. And he said, do one thing a week. Do one thing, one step, and that step will get you to the next step, and so on and so forth. Ooh. So that's what I did. So I absolutely recommend people taking the steps that they need to take to get them to where they need to go.
You know that I didn't make my LLC till a year after I started my business.
Really?
I was not worried about that. I was like, no. And let me lightly say, because I've said it before as well. I always say that because it's like I tell so many stories. When I started this business, I was working basically 10 to 7. It was Tuesday to Saturday in the Bronx. And on one day, I met a client, hired me on the spot, and said, you're going to get paid $250 for 3 videos. Wow. I was like, okay. So I'm getting paid $600 for 5 days, 6 days of my 5 days, 5 days of my week. And if I worked an extra day, they'll pay. No, it was $500. If I worked the extra day, it was $600.
Wow.
I was like, okay, I see how this could work. I took off my 2 days, which was Sunday and Monday. Didn't come back. Went to do the videos on my days off.
Right.
Edit on my days off and at night sometimes. And then a week later, something happened where they were not happy that I wasn't I wasn't going to work on Mondays anymore. And I said, okay, then what we're gonna do? They said, oh, I think we need to let you go. I'm like, okay. I went. Next week, I was already making triple what I was making in that job.
Look at that.
But an opportunity arose.
Right.
I took the chance. I went, did it. That's another thing, right? Because opportunities do come up.
Yep.
I took the chance. I did it. And luckily, all the stars aligned. God was in me. There was a blessing on disguise.
Right.
And today we're here.
Look at that.
But I was working to pay my rent. I used to pay $2,000 in the Bronx. And I used to make 23, 22.
Wow.
Anything
you went
else?
To just for
Is that right? My wife, if my wife had a sick day or I had a sick day, we were screwed.
Wow.
So.
And now look at you.
Blessings. And, I don't take any of this for granted. I work every day with the same energy. I think about, because I'm not thinking of today, I'm thinking of the future. Like you said, I'm also thinking about at some point my parents are going to come over. I need to take care of them.
Yep.
I don't want them to be working a 9 to 5.
Yep.
So they were always there for me. There's a new culture where parents need to take care of themselves. I don't believe in that. I believe that my parents were always there for me, brought me up, and they deserve the respect of having a nice life if I'm able to provide it. And my brothers as well, my wife, everybody who's in my circle, I want to take care of. And the only way I could do that is by working every day. That's it.
I hear you. I think the other currency, though, outside of working to support your family and, of course, making the revenue to do that, is the currency of time.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that now you're not clocking in, clocking out, there's a beauty in that.
Yes.
And I think that while, there's months, because that's the other thing, people ask me all the time, are you making the same money you were at L'Oreal? Sometimes not. Like at the moment right now, I just opened this space. It was a huge investment.
Yeah.
And I know later it will come back, but right now, no.
You have to take the risk in order to see the rewards.
Exactly. Absolutely. However, the fact that I can pick up my children, drop them off at school, go
be
to
at the events.
be at the events, go to basketball games.
It's valuable.
You can't put money on that. And I love that.
And that's the same thing I say about my son, right? There's days where I see him wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, so I have to go to the office, but instead of going to the office, let me just set up everything here in the house, and I get to see him running around all day.
Yeah.
What if I had to go clock in? I can't see that.
Yep.
I wouldn't be able to see like the first time he took his real steps, which I was there. So those are moments, those are valuable things that this life is able to provide to you. Yes, I'm working late at night sometimes, but then you see the reward by being able to take the vacation when they're on vacation instead of being like, oh, you have to go to work.
Yep.
Because somebody else told you have to go to work and you can't take a day off.
Yep.
So again, you said something very powerful at the beginning, which was, if this is for you, not everybody has to do the same thing we're doing. It is for each individual person.
Yes.
If you could do it, you got to do it. Because there's a lot of people having depression, having different, state of mind. Because they're trying to do something they're not made for.
Right.
If you're happy with just clocking in, clocking out, going to Starbucks, getting a coffee, going home, watching Netflix, then that's your lifestyle. Don't let social media pull you into the pressure of thinking that you're messing up.
Right. And that you're doing something wrong because you're not asking for more or doing more. And I think that that's why social media can be a great tool.
And also.
But also very detrimental to people's mental well-being, because they're comparing themselves, to anybody that they see, whether it's fitness-wise. Or they have a side hustle, then I need to have a side hustle. They left their job, so then I should leave my job. That person's coaching business is thriving, so mine should be thriving. All those conversations that we're having, and we're comparing ourselves to people that, one, we probably don't even know. Yep. Because we probably don't. So
you
we
don't know what happens
behind the scenes. They could be miserable. It's funny because I actually saw a TikTok last night of a therapist who screamed into the camera and was like, I hate being a therapist. I don't care about your problems. You know, and I was like, oh my God, like we have this fairy tale that therapists have it all together. They're human too.
They're human too, yeah.
And I think that we forget that some of these people that we see and we scroll by on social media are human, and they're going through divorces and sick children and their own mental health. So don't compare yourself to those people. 2, don't compare your chapter 1 to their chapter 10.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do that. Like I just get into this business.
I should have a car parked right here.
I should have a,
whatever
a
going.
Lambo or whatever. Or I went into real estate. Oh my God, this person flipped 5 houses and I only have this one.
But you don't know what that person's doing.
You don't know exactly
what's happening behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's incentivized by other things.
Yes.
The other thing is maybe they're not even his.
Yes.
He's just trying to sell you a course.
Yep.
So he's saying, these are my houses when there's somebody else's houses.
Yep.
Sometimes they're not really that successful. They rented the car.
Yeah.
So it's like the people who are successful in business don't talk too much.
Yep.
They show with actions.
Yep. Absolutely.
And when you go, they don't try to oversell. They're good.
Yep.
They know exactly what they're doing. They know where they are. They know what their needs are.
Yep.
They know what the family needs. They're good. They're chilling out.
Absolutely.
That's something I learned, and I'm like, and it helped me a lot to understand that I don't need to compete with anybody.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%.
Well, I think we reached 30 minutes in this podcast. We would have been here for an hour.
I know.
But thank you so much for allowing us to set up here.
Thank you for having me.
This is a beautiful space.
Thank you. And if you're looking to host any type of event,
yep,
I'm going to do a little spiel right now.
Of course, go ahead.
Here at Merced Manor, we would welcome you with open arms. We can host up to 45 people inside. Over 100 here outside.
It's a big space.
Yes, we have a beautiful sleeping accommodations upstairs. So if you're having a party and you want to have your guests, a few of your guests stay over, or you want to have a rehearsal dinner and then set up the next day. I mean, we offer so much flexibility. So if you're looking for a space for your next event, wedding, birthday party, celebration, we'd love to make it a beautiful event for you.
Especially at this town. Ringwood is a beautiful town.
It's beautiful. Even the drive up.
Oh my God. You feel like you're not even in Jersey.
In Jersey.
Or near New York. You're not here.
I know.
You're in Kentucky or something. But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Cesar,
Appreciate
for
it.
having me.
See you guys later.
Thank you.